So let's review numbers in JavaScript. We're going to add two variables. First, I'm going to add a comment. We're going to add cons number 1 is going to be equals to 30, comma, and number 2 is going to be equal to 20. Let's add another one, number 3. We're going to add this as -3, something like this, -3. So for example, if I send these values to the console.log number 1, you can see we're printing 30. I'm going to create a second variable. We're going to add let result, and we're going to make some math operations with this number, and we're going to send this value to the result. So the result is going to be the value that we're going to print in the console. So for example, JavaScript is a programming language. It can make a math operation. So for example, an addition. And you can see we can add something like result number 1 plus number 2. And this is going to make the addition. You can see we have 50. 20 plus 30 equals to 50. JavaScript can also handle the subtraction. So result equals to number 1 minus number 2. Save this and you can see we have 10. So it's working fine. Next, we're going to add the multiplication. Result, we're going to add something like number 1. And we're going to multiply this by the number 2. Save this and you can see we have 600. We also can make some division. So division is going to be like this. Result equal, and set something like number 1 and between the number 2 like this. So you can see we have 1.5. So this is working just fine. And these are the basic math operations that you can make in JavaScript. There is another really popular called the modulos. Modulo is going to be equal result and it's going to be equals to number 1. The modulo, which looks like this percentage sign. Let's add number 2. So save this and you can see the number is 10. So the idea behind the modulo is that, for example, you divide 30 between 20 and the result should be an integer number. So for example, in that case, it's going to be 1 and the remainder, which is 10, or the residuum, is going to be the value of the modulo. You can see it's printing 10. We're going to make some exercise using this modulo in this same video. So for example, JavaScript also has another class for math operations, a little more advanced than these ones. We're going to remove this. So for example, you can add result equals to p. We're going to add result equals to math. Math, it should be in uppercase, the first M, then a dot, PA. So we're going to save this and you can see we have the value of P. We also have, for example, round. You can add something like result. We're going to add result equals to math dot round, and let's add something like 2.2. Save this and you can see we have 2. If you add 2.5, this is going to round to 3. We're going to add 2.4. It's going to be 2 also. So we also can force the rounding numbers, ceil or floor. We're going to round up or down. We're going to add result is going to be equals to math.ceil, and we're going to add 2.2. So save this, and this is going to, and you can see we have 3, so this is going to round the number up. If you want to force the round down, you can add result equals math.floor. And if you have 2.9, this is going to round this down. So the value is going to be 2. So we also have a square root. I haven't used this actually in any project, but I'm going to show you this. It's going to be really simple. Result to math.square root like this. And for example, something like 144, we can send this value to the console and it's going to be 12. We can also get an absolute number. You can see here the number 3 is equals to -3. So we can add abs number. Result equals to math.abs. And we can pass that number 3. So save this and you can see we have 3. It's going to remove the negative number and it's going to convert that number into the absolute number. We also have power. Result equals to math.pow. And we can add, for example, the 8 times 3. And you can see we have 512. And for example, I'm going to add another comment. Get the minimum number from a list. You can use result equals to math.min, and we can add some values here. We're going to add 10, 8, 3, 4, 1, 4, 6, 3, and 7. Save this, and you can see that the minimum number is 1. If you add -3 right here, you can see the minimum number is going to be -3. You can also have get the maximum number from a list, and I'm gonna copy this, paste right here, and I'm gonna change this from min to max, and you can see the max number is going to be the number 10.